What's up everyone and welcome to my latest video. I am Memoria and today I'm going to show you my Penance brand assassin that I've been playing on stream for the last couple of days. And the reason I chose Penance brand is because I'm a huge fan of Storm brand and I also have a build guide on it, but I didn't feel that it performed as well this league, and I want to find an alternative to us that wants to play brand builds. So I decided to go with Penance brand, and this is basically a brand that you attach to an enemy and it's going to build up energy and then explode. So this is a physical brand that converts 50% of that physical damage to lightning. So what we need to do is convert the other 50%, as well as trying to scale with clusters and so on to basically make it as fast as possible and clear as good as possible. So there are a couple options you can convert your physical to lightning. I went with enchant on my gloves and also a watcher sight that converts up to 40% of fist damage to lightning. And we're gonna go through the gear in a little second, but this build can be budget. It can also be really expensive. My version is a little bit more expensive, but I'm gonna show you what items you can swap out to make it a little bit more budget. So let's start with the links first of all. So I got my Penance brand at level 21. You don't need it, level 20 is fine. We're using Conk Effect to buff the damage as much as possible. Got Power Charge and Crit, since this is a Power Charge heavy build and we focus around that with the Assassin Ascendancy. Got a Swift brand. Got a Control Destruction. In my case it is Awakened, but you don't need that. And the last link is Inspiration. So for the other links we have Arcane Surge and Flame Dash, that we have a link to Brand Recall and Second Wind. Then we've got a Hex Touch setup with Wave of Conviction and Frostbite. If you do have the Awakened Hex Touch, you can add in Elemental Weakness on a 4-link. And then we have Herald of Purity, Herald of Ice, and Wrath, and this is linked to Enlighten level 4. Now, if you can't afford Enlighten level 4, you can go for a level 3 and then pick the Sovereignty node over here. So that is going to give you an additional 14% reduced mana reserved. And the last link is just custom damage taken, Immortal Call. So looking at the gear, I got a Explode and Frenzy chest. You don't need the Frenzy on there. You don't need the Explode either, but it helps a lot with the clear. So if you want to drop out on the Frenzy charge, just add in a Cold Snap in your custom damage taken setup, and you're gonna get Frenzy charges as you clear maps. So I've got just gloves, belt, and boots, just life and resistances. It's nice if you can get Chaos Rest somewhere in there. And open prefix for the Fist to Lightning enchant. We got 2 Call of the Brotherhood to convert our lightning damage to cold. And the reason for that is just to make it even more safe. So we want to freeze and chill everything and be able to run around without getting hit, basically. Because it takes a little bit of time, that split second before the brands activate, and you jump into a pack that could potentially kill you, and we don't want that. We got double void batteries, and you don't need this either, but they add a lot. But instead you can go for just regular ones with spell damage, crit strike, crit multiplier, and yeah, but these are pretty cheap right now. They are 95 chaos per one, so those would be my first upgrade. For the amulet, just try and get life, maybe crit multiplier, added spell, lightning or cold damage. If you can get 1+ lightning jam, that is also really nice. For the helmet, I chose to go with +2 power charge and reduced resistance, reduced cold rest nearby enemies. And you don't need both, you don't need them, but it helps. And but you can start with just getting life and resistances, and if you can get one of these two, get the power charge. So that is the gear. For the tree, focusing on getting all the power charges. I've also went with the double cluster. I'm gonna explain to you why in a little second. We also got the brand nodes. So we got Runesmith, and we have Runebinder, and then I anointed the explosive runes, just to get an additional brand, because we have a chance of creating an additional brand with one of the cluster units that I'm going to show you soon. So this is what it looks like. And I've got a Glorious Vanity with Doriani in order to get the Corrupted Soul. You don't need it, but it does add around 1000 energy shield. You can use the Replica Soul Tether instead of your belt if you have enough resistances, and that's going to give you the same thing. And yeah, if we go over to the cluster jewels, so I have a 2 cluster setup. You can go with 1 if you don't have the currency for 2. But I decided to go with basically one that is a cold cluster jewel and the other one is a lightning. And I don't have the mods that I want because they're quite hard to craft. But basically, you want to craft these using fossils. So get cold and lightning fossils and just try and get 2 or 3 mods that are good. In my case, I wanted the Doriani's Lesson for that extra elemental damage leeches life. And get Snowstorm on one of them, and on the other one I wanted to have Blanketed Snow. And for the last one, you know, any good mod is fine, either Vengeful Commander. You can get basically any mod that adds lightning or cold damage. So for the medium cluster jewels, I have 4 of them with ground design. So we have ground design on every one, because that will increase our cast speed, and that will in turn increase the activation frequency on our Penance brand because it scales with cast speed. And then I have 3 cluster jewels with Remarkable, so that adds even more cast speed. And they have a chance to create an additional brand, and that's why we are running with 6 maximum brands, so that we have as many brands out as possible while we're clearing. And for the last jewel, I have Holy Conquest, and that is just to get the brand to attach to a new enemy, and you do that every 0.3 seconds just to help the clear a little bit more. So that is what the tree looks like. Optional here is to get the Intuitive Leap, so we can get Discord Artisan to buff our Herald of Ice and Herald of Purity. And I also went with brand Equity, which really don't need it. We have enough brands out there, but you can get it. And on the left side, I went with Thread of Hope with a medium ring, so we get Divine Wrath and Divine Judgment, as well as Arcane Capacitor. And basically, if you get this, you don't need the Arcane Surge, but I have an open gem slot, so I just put it in there. So that is what it looks like, and according to Path of Building, we are sitting on around 6 million DPS, and that is 3 million per brand. And I've cleared all the content so far. It's no problem at all, and we're doing really good in Heist because we are basically chilling, freezing, and exploding everything. So let's go through a map, and you can see how it looks like. And my build version, you know, it is a bit more expensive, but you can make this a budget. But I would still say try and get at least 5-6 exalts for the build. Just to get like the cluster jewels at least. They are really important here. So yeah, as you can see, we have like all the brands up almost all the time, and they are exploding, chilling, freezing everything. We're just running around trying not to get hit. And yeah, we are not a big fan of the proximity shields, because we need to go into the shield in order to kill them. So yeah, you need to watch out for that. But yeah, as you can see, like we have no problem staying alive. We don't have any problem like killing the more tougher enemies. And yeah, it's in my opinion a really well balanced build, and it is a fun addition to the brand builds. So if you like playing with brands, if you like Stormbrand and you want to try something new, I can highly recommend giving this one a try. And yeah, and there's a lot of min-maxing to be done here. Like I don't have 20/20 on all my jewels, so that alone will add a nice increase in damage. But yeah, that is what it looks like, and let's just head over to the boss and I can show you how the single target looks like. Because we only have 2 brands that can be attached to an enemy, and that means we're gonna have to make sure that we always have a brand ready to be attached next to the boss. And I will show you what it looks like. So, well, okay, died pretty quickly. But yeah, we're gonna make sure that we have an explosion ready, like a brand ready to explode all the time. So I just basically like keep putting the brands up next to the boss, and they usually die in like 1, 2, 3 explosions. So yeah, that is what it looks like. If you have any questions, any comments, just write them in the comment section and I will reply as soon as I can. I will also add the path of building in the description. And yeah, with that said, it's a really fun build. I recommend it if you want to try something new. And yeah, that is all. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.